This is end of chapter 7, problem 7.04 from the CFA Institute textbook, Corporate Finance, a Practical Approach, 2nd edition. And this problem is looking at the the dividend reinvestment, and start out with what we know. Sophie Chan owns 100 shares of PAT Company. So the number of shares she owns, start out with 100,000, and the share price is $40 per share. So her investment value is 100,000 shares, $40 a share. Sophie Chan owns $4 million worth of stock. Chan reinvests the gross amount of all dividends received to purchase additional shares. Okay, so assume the clientele for PAT shares consists of tax-exempt investors. We're getting rid of the tax impact on the price. So tax-exempt investors mean that even if they get dividends, they don't pay any taxes on it. So if PAT paid $1.50 dividend, how much would Chan be able to reinvest? Okay, so the dividend paid would be $1.50 per share. Okay, which would mean that the new share price is going to go down. It won't be $40 because once it trades, you strip out $1.50 per share, the value of the shares drops to $38.50. Her total dividend, she gets $1.50 per share times 100,000 shares. Okay, so that means her dividend check would be for $150,000. Now notice she still owns 100,000 shares worth $38.50. That's $38,500 worth of stock, or $385,000. I'm sorry. And she owned, or $3,850,000. Trying to do math in my head. So her share value now would be 100,000 shares times $38.50. So her shares are now only worth $3,850,000, but she also has $150,000 worth of shares. So she still owns $4 million worth of stuff. The number of new shares, she's just going to reinvest the money. She's going to buy $150,000 of shares at $38.50 per share. That won't be a dollar amount. That's actually a number. Should be able to buy about 3,896 shares. Okay, so if she owned 100,000 shares, she originally owned 100,000, and now she goes and buys another 3,896 plus a fraction. We're going to ignore the fraction right now. Generally, companies do not give you fractional shares. They would simply cut you a check for the difference. So now she can buy, she'll have about 103,896 shares, which the answer that's closest to that is 103,900. So we round up to the nearest 100. That would be the answer to Sophie's dilemma here.